3 tips to get more customers approved as a car salesman. Check it out. What's going on, guys? It's Corey. So listen, I want to make this video for those of you out there who work in the car industry and you come across a lot of customers that have bad credit, no credit, challenge credit, you know, whatever you want to call it. All right, basically it's difficult for you to get them approved, and I want to give you some best practices, the 3 keys that you must follow in order to get these customers approved. We're not talking about customers with good credit. We know these customers can get approved by anybody, right? They have good credit, of course, but we're talking about those specifically who have challenge credit, because a lot of you get these customers and you don't know what to do with it. Maybe you've never been trained, maybe you've never been taught, and a lot of times even the people that's working your deals don't even know these as well. So I'm making this video for you to be able to take control of the sales process and for you to be able to basically guide the sale in the right direction for you to get the best possible chance to get these customers approved. First, before we even go into the 3 keys, we must understand one thing. We're understanding in order to get these customers approved, that means the bank has to loan the dealership money, right? So the bank has the leverage. I want you to keep that in mind. The bank has the leverage in this case, all right, because they're the ones that's giving out the money. They're the ones that have the stipulations, that make the guidelines, whatever. So the dealership must abide to the bank's stipulations and guidelines. So with that understanding, for a second, I want you to think like the bank. What are the bank's objectives? The bank has 2 objectives, all right? So I'm gonna put the bank's goals, all right? First goal is to make money, right? And how do they do this? They make money from the interest rate. And 2 is to lower the risk. So objective 1 is to make money. They do this through the interest rate. And objective 2 is to lower the risk. All right, that's why customers with good credit get approved more often than not, because they're very low risk to the bank. Why? Because they have a history that they always pay their bills. And as far as with customers that have, you know, challenge credit, bad credit, whatever you want to call it, they're looked at as higher risk. Why? Because they don't pay their bills, all right? So these customers are higher risk. So the bank has 2 goals when giving out a loan to the dealership. It's to make money and it's to lower the risk. So these 3 keys are gonna be basically in conjunction with these goals right here, right? They align with these goals, all right? So the first tip you must understand is, in order to get more customers approved with bad credit or challenge credit, you wanna first start off selling used cars. And I'm gonna explain why. Used cars over new cars. Hey guys, so a lot of you may be interested in figuring out how you can sell more cars or just make more money in general. Listen, DM me the word sold on Instagram at @RealCoreyBrunette. Once again, DM me the word sold on Instagram at @RealCoreyBrunette. I'm looking forward to helping you out, see if I can share some nuggets with you. More importantly, looking forward to meeting you. Let's get back to the video. So you want to sell used cars. Why used cars? Well, used cars, all right, because they're pre-owned. And by the way, you don't want to just sell like any used car. Like if the year right now is 2024, for example, you're not going to sell a 2023. And I'll tell you why. All right, you want to sell something a little bit older. All right, not too old, because then they can't make as much interest because the term gets cut down. So you want to find something where the price range is typically like around 15 grand, 20 grand, maybe the most, depending on the credit history. All right, and the year is maybe like 5, 6 years old, probably no more than 6 years old. All right, and the reason for that is because, as crazy it may sound, now this is not our fault, right? This is, once again, the bank has the leverage. This is how the banks look at it. The older the vehicle, and especially if it's a used car, the banks can make more interest on the loan. All right, and once again, what I say, one of their goals is to make money, and they make it through the interest rate. So when you sell a used car, they can charge a higher rate on a used car than they could a new car. With new cars, there's state maximums. All right, there's like, they can't go past a certain interest rate, right? And with a customer that has bad credit, you know they're gonna get the state maximum, right? And typically on the new car, they get capped out at a certain number. So what ends up happening is, if you try to put this customer on a new car, what ends up happening is the bank now charges the dealership a huge bank fee, and all of a sudden your dealership doesn't want to take the deal, obviously, right? If the bank is charging the dealership 5 grand to just sell this customer a car, it's not worth it, right? So how do you lower the bank fee, or how do you get none at all? Well, you have to allow the bank to make more interest on the loan. How do they make more interest? You sell them a used car, something that's preferably a little older. Because if it's only like a year old, if it's 2024 and you sell a 2023, they're still maxed out at a certain rate. So the older you go, the higher the rate can go as well, right? So once again, that's one key. You want to sell used cars. It's not going to just be any used car. I'm going to cover in number 3 what type of used cars you want to sell. So that's the first tip. You want to sell used cars over new cars, the right type of years, not too old, not too many miles as well, because that also shortens the term. So something probably like around 90,000 miles or 100,000 miles or less, depending on the bank's guidelines, and something around 5, 6 years old, so where they can make a decent amount on interest. Once again, we don't make the rules. We're just following the bank's guidelines, and I'm trying to tell you how to get most of your customers approved. These are the things that your finance manager is considering if they have experience, right? So I want to tell you, by the way, I want to give you a word track to do this, because a lot of you, especially if you're a beginner, right? When you get these customers, you allow them to take control very early, and what they end up doing is just shooting themselves in the foot, right? Because they don't know how banks work. So I'm trying to explain it to you so you can take control. Let's say you go outside with a customer and you're ready to show them cars. Now, you've asked some pre-qualifying questions. You know that this customer's credit's not the best. So you already know where you need to be. So what do? One, you first gotta kind of tell them about their situation. Like, you never wanna just tell a customer, hey, just go pick any car. They're gonna go pick the wrong car, right? You're not gonna make a deal. You must explain to them that their credit situation isn't the best. But also, when you step outside with a customer, one of my favorite word tracks to take control early was tell them this. I'll say, listen, we get some vehicles that we take in on trade. We get other cars that we buy at the auction. The cars that we take in on trade, we normally take them in for less, so I can sell it back to you for less. They'll be like, okay, cool, that makes sense. I'll be like, so would you mind if I showed you some of the cars you can save some money on? And then boom, I'll go and show them some trade-ins and some nice, inexpensive vehicles. And then from there, they'll be looking at the cars that they more likely qualify for, right? Plus, one of the best closes for, working these type of deals, because a lot of times you're gonna get these customers that got bad credit, but they got big eyes, right? They want the best car on the lot. You wanna hit them with the 6 months to a year close. That was one of my favorite ways to help them understand their situation and also help push the sell forward. So when they're looking at the car, they're like, I don't like this car. You tell them something like this. Hey, listen, this is just gonna be the car you stay in for right now to help reestablish your credit. After 6 months to a year, your credit score is gonna get better as long as you make all your payments on time, and then you can come back and trade out and explore different options, right? And then from there, a lot of the times they'll understand and they'll be like, okay, all right, that makes sense. If I can just rebuild my credit, then I'll come back and trade out of this vehicle. But at least for now, they have reliable transportation moving forward, right? So that's key number one. Let's jump into the second key. Second key is to get more money down. This second key aligns with this part right here, lowering the risk, all right? A lot of you don't understand money down can help make your deal. It can help break your deal, especially if it has somebody, with challenge credit. Why money down? The more money a customer puts down, the lower the risk is for the bank. For example, right, I'm gonna give it to you from the bank's perspective. Let's say the bank values a vehicle. So when your dealership is saying the car books for this is what they mean. The bank is valuing the car. Let's say it's a Toyota Corolla, right? 2018 Toyota Corolla that they're valuing at 15 grand, just giving numbers here, right? And you go sell it for 15 grand plus taxes, tag, and fees. Let's say it goes up to 17. Well, now that vehicle, the bank would have to loan that customer more money than what the car is worth, which would mean that the LTV is over 100%, which is, for a customer with bad credit, it's pretty high risk, right? So what they want to do, they want to lower the risk. Once again, that aligns with this. They want to lower the risk. So if you get money down, let's say the customer now says they can put 6 grand down, for example, right? That $17,000 now becomes $11,000, right? So now they're loaning the customer only $11,000, right? And the vehicle is valued at $15,000 by the bank, right? It's valued at 15K. They're only loaning 11. Well, that lowers the risk because now the LTV is way below 100%. The loan to value, that's what that stands for, is way below 100%, and that lowers the risk for the bank. So they're gonna feel a lot more comfortable lending that customer the money because they put a lot of money down and the risk is low. So if this customer decides to default on their payment, bank goes knocking on their door, go pick up the car, right? Send it to the auction and go sell it for more money than they even loaned the customer. Remember, it's a business. So looking at it from the bank's perspective, that's how they lower the risk. It's by having the customer put more money down. That also improves the chances of the customers getting approved. So it's not all a bad thing. If the customer has bad credit, they put money down and they make their payments, they have nothing to worry about, right? But at least now they got a car and they're riding. So how do you get more money down? I'll give you one of my favorite word tracks that I used to use when I'm sitting with a customer. Let's say I ask the customer, how much do you want to put down? They're like, oh, I only got 1,000. Yeah, I'll say, okay, yeah, I understand. Most people typically put $2,500 to $3,500 down to cover their taxes and tag. That way they're not upside down as soon as they buy the vehicle. Customer might say, what do you mean? I'll be like, well, if you're only putting $1,000 down, then you're still gonna be financing a lot of your taxes and tag. And that means as soon as you buy the car, you'll be upside down. So most people typically put a little bit, 2,500 to 3 grand down or even more. That way they fully cover their taxes and tag and they already have equity as soon as they drive off the lot, right? And then what did I just do? I positioned the reason why I'm asking them in a way that is gonna benefit them. So they're gonna sit there and say, okay, cool, that makes sense. Yeah, then all of a sudden you'll see a lot of these people come up with a lot more money down than they originally told you, right? It's the truth as well, and it is gonna benefit them, especially if they have challenge credit. You wanna help them help themselves as much as possible, all right? And that's one way to do it, is for you to get more money down, because once again, that aligns with the bank's goals. And the third tip is you wanna sell certified used cars. All right, so why do you want to sell a certified pre-owned vehicle instead of just a regular vehicle? Especially if you work at a franchise dealership. Like for me, for example, I worked at Toyota, but let's say you worked at Honda, right? You want to sell certified pre-owned vehicles and not regular vehicles, because that aligns with this goal here. It lowers the risk for the bank. And how does it lower it? When you sell a certified pre-owned vehicle, now the bank knows that the vehicle is covered by the manufacturer. So that's why I said you don't want to go too old, because for Toyota, you can't certify a vehicle that's older than 6 years and that has more than 85,000 miles, right? So if you go over that, then the vehicle can't be certified. But if you can certify a vehicle, if you can find this customer a certified pre-owned vehicle, right? One, if it's old enough, let's say it's 5 years old and let's say it has 80,000 miles, I can still certify that vehicle with Toyota. It's old enough for them to make a decent amount of interest, which aligns with this as well, so they can help make more money. Plus, it's gonna help lower the risk. Because certified pre-owns, the bank knows that that vehicle is covered straight by the manufacturer. So let's say customers driving the car, 7 months later, something happens with the transmission has issues, right? If this vehicle wasn't certified, it probably wouldn't have any warranty or any guarantee or any way for the customer to, fix that issue that they now have. So what ends up happening is that customer just decides to not make the payments anymore and they default on their loan. And that hurts the bank. If the customer is not paying their money that they owe to the bank, it's gonna hurt the bank. The objective is not to lose money, the objective is to make money. So if the vehicle is certified, they know that now that customer has insurance on that car, straight from the manufacturer. If the transmission goes out, they take it straight to any franchise dealership, take it straight over there, and they fix the vehicle for the customer at no cost or a very small deductible. So that protects the customers, and that also lowers the risk for the bank, which aligns with their goals. Right, so that's another tip you want to follow if you want to get more of these customers approved. That's the 3 crucial tips, right? All of these tips here, you have to think about it. It aligns with the bank's goals. So anytime you're thinking of how you can get these customers approved, you got to understand who has the leverage. The bank has the leverage because they're the ones giving the money. So you must align everything that you're doing with the goals of the bank if you want them to approve it, because they ultimately have the last say if the customer is getting the car or not. Keep that in mind. That's how you get more customers approved as a car salesman, especially if they have bad credit, challenge credit, no credit, whatever you want to call it. All right, but if you like the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see next, and I'll see you all in the next video. I'm glad you made it to the end of the video. I got 2 options for you. You can either watch the next video, or you can DM me the word sold on Instagram at @RealCoreyBurnett. If you're ready to take your car sales career to the next level, I'm looking forward to helping you out. More importantly, looking forward to meeting you. I'll catch you all in the next one. Have a blessed day.